Hey everybody, welcome to another Agent Secrets presentation where I am going to show you how to be more efficient and just to do a much better job with your digital marketing. Now, we are going to carry on with our AI content marketing series. And today I'm going to take you through the 30-day local real estate authority content calendar. So this is an AI planning workshop, and I'm essentially going to share with you how I like to plan my content and how I plan content for my clients as well. I figure if you don't have a plan, then it's probably not going to happen. And if it's not easy, it's also likely not to happen as well. So we're going to try to make this as easy and simple as possible. And one of the best ways to do that is to use AI tools like Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini and all of those great LLMs that we all have access to. But first, let's talk a little bit about what types of content we want to generate. And I think it's really important to stick with the goal here, which is really to present yourself as a local authority expert. And that's really where, the real estate gold is. People are going to be looking for an expert to help them with buying and selling their next home. And the better job you do at presenting your expertise, the more likely people are going to be attracted to you. So let's take you through the framework, and then we'll show you some very specific prompts that you can use to create your own content calendar. Okay, so part one, the local authority content framework. Now, why does local and authority equal real estate gold? Well, think of it as a three-circle authority model. The first is your hyper-local expertise. You know your market better than anyone, and you want to convey that. You want people to believe that. The second circle is timely relevance. Seasonal, current, things that are happening now in your community. And the third circle is consistent presence. You want to be showing up regularly, consistently, and predictably. That's what is going to build trust with your audience. So we also have a few different pillars for local authority content that we can use to generate our marketing calendar. And I always like to think of how we are going to present this in terms of, the days of the week that we may want to focus on a specific topic, and really stick with that, because not only does it make things easier to plan, but it also helps people get used to receiving certain things from you on certain days. So let's take a look at some options here for the content categories. Now, the first category is market intelligence. That really should represent about 30% of your content. So these are data-driven insights, market reports for your specific areas, price trends, inventory trends, maybe shifts in the neighborhood. And it really is going to position you as the data expert, someone who's really got their finger on the pulse of the local real estate market. The second one would be a neighborhood spotlight, and this can represent maybe 25% of your content. This is where you can feature local businesses, reach out to businesses in the neighborhood that maybe are just opening up, or those hidden gems, community events. Perhaps there's new construction happening in the neighborhood, or school updates, infrastructure changes. What this does is it really positions you as the community connector. Okay, so you're also building a following of people who are interested in that community, and you're really focusing on what's happening within these specific neighborhoods. Third is educational content. Now, this can be more evergreen content, but it can represent about 20%. And these are how to guides, process explanations, myth busting, maybe some buyer and seller tips or guides specific for your market. This will position you as the trusted advisor who has lots of knowledge and can share lots of great educational content. The fourth is seasonal or timely content that can probably maybe represent about 15% of what you're putting out. So these are holiday tie-ins, weather-related advice, seasonal market shifts, local events, tax deadlines, school calendars. This is going to help position you as timely and relevant, and also keeps that content fresh. So the content calendar architecture, it's really important to set a weekly rhythm that builds authority. Now, Monday, let's say we're doing our market intelligence. So we start the week with valuable data. Wednesday, we've got our educational or neighborhood content. Friday, maybe we're just sticking to community or fun topics, the end of the week type spirit to it. And then maybe we'll have some bonus content that we sprinkle in there. But the idea is to have at least 3 pieces going out every week in a very predictable fashion. Okay, let's get started on our workshop here. We're going to create our 30-day content prompt. And what I have here is exactly how I would enter it into the LLM, whatever model you're using. And I'll go through each element and explain why it's there and how it works. The initial prompt will be to create a comprehensive 30-day content strategy for real estate agents in a specific area. In this case, it'll be for Toronto, Ontario. We're going to give it some context. The target audience will be homeowners looking to buy or sell in the next 6 to 12 months. We want to have our market characteristics. It is a fall market, prices are dropping, fewer buyers to compete with. So you would enter in whatever market characteristics exist for you at that time during that month. And then a local calendar highlights line that would include anything that may be happening as far as holidays, events, things that are taking place in your market during the next 30 days. Then we're going to ask for it to analyze and provide our weekly content mix, keeping in mind what we want to produce on various days of the week. So if Monday is about market intelligence, we want to make sure that we're starting the week with the valuable data that would be included in that. Wednesday, we're looking at educational or neighborhood content. Friday is community or personal end of week content. And then we may have a bonus in there depending on what we want to, how much we want to send out that week. So for each day, we're going to ask for 8 to 10 specific post topics, a hook and suggestion for each, local angles to incorporate, which content pillar each is addressed, and the suggested format. So it's actually going to suggest either text or video, or maybe a carousel or a story. And here's what was generated. I've got week 1. So it did generate a full 30 days schedule, but it's a lot to cram into one slide. So I'm going to just show you an example of week 1 and what that would look like. Monday, we did specify that we wanted to focus on market intelligence, and it gave us some topics: the fall market pricing reality check. Now, the hook will be about prices dropping and what that actually means for your next move. And then we're going to have a breakdown of GTA neighborhoods by price change. And this is going to be a format that is visual, like a carousel. So it's proposing that we have 5 slides that really gives a breakdown of what's happening in various Toronto neighborhoods. So that seems like a good thing to expand on. I like that. Wednesday is all about educational content. So we've got our topic, which is the hidden costs of waiting until spring. Again, we're really going after those people who are looking to move in the next 6 to 12 months. So everything's going to have that sense of immediacy, like really speaking to people who are thinking of making that move fairly quickly. And the hook, of course, is that everyone thinks spring is the time to buy, but it actually makes a lot more sense economically to move in the fall, where the prices are lower and the competition level is also lower. Local angle is to compare typical spring bidding wars versus current fall market conditions. It is educational, and the format suggested would be a video, 90 seconds with a cost breakdown on the screen. Or you could just the ask for chat or whatever you're using to expand on the video and actually provide a script that you could go ahead and use for your video. And then Friday, we have our topic, which is a little bit more personal or community based. And it's all about favorite fall walks in the Toronto neighborhoods. So that could be a story or a reel, or maybe something that could expand into a blog post. But this would be your opportunity to get into 3 to 4 neighborhoods that have like beautiful fall foliage. Could be Hyde Park, Rosedale, Leslieville. There's lots of really cool neighborhoods in Toronto that you could highlight with that. So that's a very nice community based post that you could send out on a Friday afternoon. So let's now delve a little bit deeper into what, let's say, our Monday post would look like and get a little more visual here. Okay, so here on the left, I have my prompt to expand for the Monday market intelligence content and create specific caption templates and visual guidelines for the carousel posts. So here we have what was created. This would be a post that you could put on your Instagram page or perhaps Facebook or even LinkedIn. And it gives you a little story that you can tell. So after showing, I'll just read it out to you so you can hear it as well as read it. After showing 23 properties this week, I keep hearing the same thing. Should we wait until spring when the market picks up? Here's what I tell them and what the data actually shows. Toronto prices dropped 4.2% in the last 30 days, but the percentage doesn't tell the whole story. The sellers listing right now, they're serious. They need to sell before the holidays. The buyers competing against you, they are 60% fewer than they were in May. This isn't a bad market. This is a buyer's market. Swipe to see the neighborhood breakdown. So that is the text that you could post. And then the next slide will show you what those slides would look like. And I've actually taken the instructions that were given to me from the chat model to create these slides. Rather than show you the text instructions, I thought I would just create a simple template here. But it really just took me a few minutes to do. And this is something that either you or your VA or maybe somebody who is working on you or working with you on your social media, they could help you with this, but you definitely want to have templates for this stuff, and they're pretty simple to set up. But this would be slide one that would go at the start of the carousel. Here is slide two, that is a breakdown of the North York area. And here is slide three. And this is actually a 5 slide carousel, but we'll stop here at slide three. I think you get the idea. Each post includes those specific hooks that were designed to stop the scroll, the local angles that build neighborhood expertise, and varied call to actions that encourage saves, shares, or DMs. So, this strategy really does balance professionalism with personality. It's mixing that hard market data on Mondays with some of that more vulnerable personal content on Fridays. And this is what's going to really build trust and connection with your target audience of homeowners who are in that consideration phase, right? That's what we're going for. Those people who are really in that 6 to 12 month category. So, hopefully, that gives you a pretty good idea of how you can also set up your own 30-day marketing calendar. It does require a bit of setup, and of course, the more templates you have, the better. So, I strongly encourage you to set up a swipe file and set up some templates that will really help you be consistent. But just remember that everything that you do really should revolve around a system. And we here at Success Website, we are definitely big on systems. So if you are looking for more help, whether it be targeting and attracting your ideal target market, generating new leads, automating your follow-up, retargeting and delivering value to your existing audience, these are all things that we specialize in and can definitely help you with. So make sure that you visit our website, go to successwebsite.com. You can click on the demo link or just go right to successwebsite.com/demo. That will get you booked with a complimentary walkthrough and marketing consultation. And of course, remember, you really don't have to do this alone. We're here to help you execute these plans. And that's where we're going to leave it today. So I want you to go and be the expert that your market needs. Thank you so much for taking the time with me today.